Winter is here, folks, regardless of your opinions on it. I hate it. The days of mowing lawn and taking Instagram story posts are over, replaced by the depressing mornings of waking up when it's dark out and going home when it's dark out. I've cried, I run on sun, and I need it. I must remain a light shade of pink and constantly be burnt, all right? It's just a thing up north. Things just don't seem to last often, all right? We end up missing them because we do not properly enjoy them, all right? There are car generations out there that we took for granted, and now we look back and think, we didn't deserve you. I'm Alex at.fi on Instagram, and today we're gonna be talking about a car generation that we wish we could have gotten back. A generation of Subaru that we all wish we owned since like the first snowfall, and then once it just depreciated and we wish we could have bought it and appreciate, we're like, you know, it's just like, gosh darn it, and just, it was a car that you could properly make a good daily driver, that you wouldn't feel bad if it met a snowbank. A car that makes every high schooler happy and makes every suburb mom cry. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna be talking about you wanting to own a Blobeye or Hawkeye Subaru WRX STI. If you're just jumping into this video, 1, 2, clap, down, up.
Hey.
How's it going? Hello. If you could just subscribe, that'd be cool. And if you're looking for aftermarket wheels, tires, or suspension, be sure to slap us up. Like Dakota slaps the wheel. All right, be sure to hit us up over at fitmentindustries.com, where we have everything you could possibly imagine for your newly acquired Subaru WRX STI, acronyms or otherwise. We do have everything. Plus, we got deals going on all month long because we got November is Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but we just put stuff all over. So if you don't want to wait, you can actually pick something up. Taking it back to the 90s, best generation ever. All right, the Subaru WRX hit puberty through the World Rally Championship and took Colin McRae to his highway of fame. All right, it was a converted WRX at the Subaru factory that had more ponies, a firmer transmission, a shorter shifter, and a lightweight electromechanical differential. This was what made the STI. And for those that wanted a slightly more aggressive WRX, the STI was it. And Subaru squeezed that trim dry where it could. The brand, which was barely climbing out of its own marketing trouble, found tons of love in the aftermarket scene through its world rally activities and off-road tomfoolery. This newly uniquely sounding and oddly planted sedan would capture the heart of enthusiasts around the world and had people that they too thinking they could be a next Colin M on a snow road, back end road at 8 o'clock at night in Wisconsin. Spoiler alert, they couldn't, but it was a cool thought. And even though the STI insignia was somewhat new for the market, the W's that Subaru would take home spearheaded the rest of the consumer interest in these cars. Dubs are dubs. Subaru would go on to win the 2001 and 2003 World Rally Championship, and with it, people rushed to the Subaru dealer to be met with a very happy Subaru WRX with some big ass headlights. Big ol' circle boys that weren't really aggressive. I mean, look at it. It sounds like it'll rip your face off, but no eyelids are gonna make that front end look angry. It was just a thing that the new beginning years of WRX just kind of looked. It was like the big brother of the Miata plus a crease along the middle. It was just, that's what it looked like. Still, the 230-ish horsepower that came out of the then WRX was enough to make people love the car, even with its odds, quirks, and features that would make Doug DeMuro cry, and dealerships cheer for the amount of unreliable issues that came from the first generation, money. But then Subaru did something truly magical. They did something truly incredible. They did something that not many car manufacturers nor movie producers can do these days. They created a facelift in 2004 that was nearly better than the first one in every single way. The second generation facelift was the voice drop that the car sorely needed. The binder design was redone by McLaren F1 Peter Stevens, which made it properly aggressive, and you could get it with an all-weather package, a spoiler, a stereo, a redesigned front seat, a larger scoop for the intake. It had neat headlights, neat taillights, and some cool fog lights. With only 7,400 ever being made, finding one of these cars is now a little bit more of a rarity, but totally worth it because it had a $31,000 price tag at the time, and now it has a $30,000 price tag. Now, it had a $31,000 price tag, had a 2.5 liter turbocharged engine, 6-speed, limited slip differential, Brembo brakes, BBS wheels, and kisses from Peter Solberg, Richard Burns, and Colin McRae. It made everybody happy. Anybody that wanted to feel like they had a race car but not a race car, this was the car that you bought. 300 horsepower and 14.5 pounds of boost. Made this thing fun, quick, blast to play with. Biggest downer was the car came initially with a 5x100 bolt pattern. What? They switched it out, they got the 5x1 14.3 eventually, but it's just a thing that you're gonna wanna keep in mind. From 2004 to its inevitable demise to a hatched, non-hatched thing that is pretty sweet, but still not as subtly Subaru as the JD Gen, there are a few key differences as the year passed on. 2005, they switched to a 5x1 14.3 bolt pattern. Yes! All right, 2006, we see the torque split become more front heavy from 35 to 65 to 4159. And in 2007, they got taller gearing and a new ECU. However, the most well-known distinctions during these years were the looks. And I would argue that these are some of the best looking generation STIs ever made, probably besides the GC8. In 2005, they began adjusting the color flares, the spoiler colors, the diffusers, and more. From 2004 to 2006, you'd see Subaru change its eyes, butts, and side markers to make it even cooler. 2006 would see the big change from the Blobeye design, because if you look at the headlights, they look like a Blobeye. First gen, pre-facelift bug eye, looks like a bug eye. Subarus are creative folks, but in 2006, they introduced super angry headlights, the Hawkeye design, a trimmed headlight that blended into the front bumper up into the fender liner. And oh my gosh, they were beautiful. This generation Subaru STI hit the natural depreciation curve up until about the mid 2010s, when for some reason they stopped early. And nowadays, picking up a properly clean 04 to 07 STI can be more than some of the MSRP than when they were released. And I am not kidding. It makes me sad because I was actually looking at one. But we're not here to talk about you wanting to know the history of these blue and gold neighbor wakers, okay? You want that? Go read a Goosebumps book or something. I used to cheat on those. Every time I die, just go backwards. No, we're here to talk about you wanting to own one of these bad boys. So you want a Subaru WRX STI Blobeye / Hawkeye. Hawkeyes are banging. Well, set down your favorite ring-laying joke and grab your favorite brake cleaner, because we're about to jump into what it's like to own one of these, all right? If you've managed to jump into one of these STIs, congratulations. You've picked up a banging car that will treat you right as long as you keep these few maintenance things in mind, because it's an STI. Because Subarus are Subarus, timing belts and water pumps must be religiously taken care of. 7 years or 105,000 miles every time, no matter what, no excuses, gotta get it done. Recommend 100K just to be safe. Understand that higher mileage STIs may suffer from 5th and 6th gear synchros going out. It's just a common issue, and because WRXs love to swap these transmissions, finding them to replace or to do a full rebuild can be expensive, because the WRX market drove up the STI transmission market. Rust can and does hurt these cars too, most notoriously around the spoiler mounting areas, rear fender liners, and door jambs. And because these are all-wheel drive sedans, there's a hair in my No one makes me bleed my own blood. Because these are all-wheel drive sedans, they were used for their intended purpose, and it's important to get the car on a lift to get the full inspection of the car prior to dumping $25,000 to $30,000 into a 16-year-old Subaru. Very important you say that out loud, because it's gonna help you make sure you make the right purchase. Oh, and 4, you own one of the best sounding 4-cylinder turbo cars out there. The proper exhaust and headers will make this thing rumble in the most harmonic way possible and just make anyone smile when they're driving it, all right? The Boxer horizontally opposed flat engine paired with its unequal length headers is the Subaru gods passing down a sound that we do not deserve, but we get anyway. There's a few times where they just get it right, they got it right. Comes from the fact that the cylinder 1 and 3 are at a different length than the cylinder 2 and 4 for the headers, causing 2 different wavelengths to interact through the exhaust system. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? You can call me when you win that. But the noise itself is what will convince 90% of people to pick one of these cars up. If you're looking to pick one up, the easiest way to determine which one is for you is dependent on how much you want to spend and how raw you want it to feel. The 04s are known to be the most raw out of the Subaru STI platforms, as they still lack some of the tech-savvy parts that the future STIs began to introduce. These days, the cars were just rocket ships, and the 04s seem to be a little bit easier to find. However, the Hawkeye is one of the more rare examples of the STI, with only 4,500 of them being made in 2007 compared to the 7,500 in 04 and 05. Blue with gold is the most common color, but satin white pearl is the rarest. And if you pick up an STI, it's game on to whichever one you want. White pearl, beautiful, all right? It's like finally getting your magazine in the mail with all the cheat codes for GTA 4, all right? You start getting everything. You get the motorcycles, the helicopters, the unlimited ammo, you get flying, you get tanks, then you just end up playing as a pedestrian following traffic laws because you're bored. I've done that, all right? The aftermarket community for the Subaru STI is like the same thing. It's just huge and it allows you to do anything, and they're quite frankly extremely supportive when you're trying to build your car, which is a little bit interesting. The STI community builds anything and everything for these cars. First off, most people will opt for the BC Racing Coilovers, NK wheels, or Artisa wheels. We launched 1123, you know what I'm saying? Check it out. And Federal tires. Most people attempt to keep the functioning styling of Subarus unless they go with the air suspension and show car style. But the car deserves to be fast as hell and slightly scary the whole time you own it, both for its ability to blow up and its ability to pull trains on most cars when the motors get built. Cobb and Perrin parts flood these cars, all right? Be sure that any of those parts were properly installed. And if anybody just says that it needs a tune to be dialed in, you just need to put your shoes on, your favorite running shoes, and bolt.
Don't go back.
The electronically controlled center differential makes you feel like a proper rally car, even though most people will never know how to use it. The 2006 upgraded 2.5 liter turbocharged 300 horsepower was an impressive number back then, especially out of a 4-cylinder. These cars were just built different, all right? The community that surrounds these cars is also massive, and they know everything about everything. They know more than probably Subaru. I'm actually convinced. There's no way that they don't. If you found an STI, get the VIN, and I bet you the community will be able to tell you the passenger door, engineer, designer's favorite color from May of 2002 to June of 2003 prior to having him with his second child when it changed from violet to black, because Subaru communities know everything about these cars. Nowadays, these cars have found a cave and they remain hidden from the world, only to be occasionally seen in a rusted, haphazard way from an 18-year-old or at a Cars and Coffee where it's hiding in the back of a garage, just bone stock. Regardless of which, if you pick up an STI, just be sure to always remember the basics. Maintenance keeps these cars alive longer, but failure to do so will make you cry with your wallet. They're expensive to keep alive. Check the rack bushings, check your synchros, check any oil leaks or weepage. This is common, especially with gaskets. No leaks are normal for these cars. Paint is a weak point for Subaru and always has been, so be prepared for a correct or a respray. They're noisy and that's normal, like rattly noisy. You're gonna hear struts will clunk over bumps, and that usually requires a rebuild as well. And of course, get a compression test. You're spending $30,000 on a 15-year-old Subaru. You can thank us later, maybe buy us some ramen, check it out. You help me, help you. Most jokes originate from some truth, but it's not the worst thing in the world as long as you're patient, and remember that whatever you do, if there's anything you take out of this video, do not make them equal length headers. Don't do it. But what do you think about the Subaru STI? Let us know below. And if you're looking for aftermarket wheels, tires, and suspension, be sure to check us out over at fitmentindustries.com. I'm Alex from Fitment Industries, and we will see you later. Don't do equal length headers, please, please, please. All right, peace.